Welcome to the upstreamlife.com. I'm your founder and editor, Vishal Krishna, and I've always told you I've been writing about retail for 23 years, and I've had a lot of experience with brands. I've spent a lot of money, much to the dismay of facing my wife later on,
Oh
right?
boy.
Yes, but so I've got another brand today. I've got Oxbow and its founder, Rahul. Rahul,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm brilliant.
Tell me about Oxbow quickly.
So Oxbow is a platform that enables packaged food and beverage brands scale across India the right way and at the right places and with patience as such. Yeah.
And you're also sort of a supporter of a lot of brands.
Yeah, we work with a large number of brands. Some are our own, most of them are partner brands, and we get them towards profitability at the right stores at the right time.
Okay, so if you are a brand and you want to understand how to break into the offline world and also combine experiences of online and offline together, then this is the podcast that you got to watch. It's on YouTube, of course, and we're going to share it on LinkedIn anyway. So you can like what we did today.
Yes,
And you're on LinkedIn, aren't you?
I am. Yes.
What's the website of Oxbow?
Oxbowbrands.com.
Check that out and let us know what you think. Thank you, guys. Rahul, thank you for coming to my studio. The interesting aspect is I've been shopping a lot lately, and I'm going to be talking about shopping with you and your brands. Okay, so I want to talk about what Oxbow is. What does it mean, and why call it Oxbow?
Sure. So, firstly, thanks for having me over. It's really kind of you, and lovely to meet you. Oxbow, the way we come up with Oxbow is a very interesting way. We've been in the world of food for a long time. I've been a distribution company for a large number of companies, nationally, domestically, state-wise, for a long time. When we started interacting with newer brands, what we saw was two things. One is folks said to us, man, it's really hard working with distributors. It's really hard going into the offline. Retail is tough to work with. I was like, man, that's my day in and day out, and I love that. These are my partners. These are my customers. And that's who I work with every day. And for me, it was normal, but people said it was a heavy lifting, number one. Number two, they had issues on payments and credits and stuff. So a lot of people didn't like that element of offline world. Now for us, we said that's heavy lifting. So first element was Oxbow is heavy lifting of Oxbow. So we can do that entire thing. It's our good stuff. I'm happy to be that Ox and carry the entire thing.
So you'll be their beast of burden.
I love to be, I love what I do. So, and I love, working with the partners that I work with. It's day in and day out. People may have bad experience, but if you're a good guy, you're going to get good things.
It's interesting.
It's
interesting. I want to ask you this. So the fact that retail in India, right, D2C, everybody talks about, a lot of the brands do face troubles when they go offline, right? And that's where you can come in and help them.
Yes.
That's also because of sort of your history. You have at least 75 years of legacy of business and distribution, and you understand. So a quick primer for the brands watching in, right? If I know Oxbow has about 4 brands at this point of time. What does it take to work through the retail distribution? I mean, is it everybody says, oh man, it's always on credit, and there are distributors who charge us so much upfront, and they don't want to sell up young brands and all that, right? So how do you solve it?
So this actually comes back to the second part of why Oxbow. And this is what we've learned being in the world of distribution in India for a long time. You can't always just go straight in your method. You've got to be able to adapt. You've got to flow where the journey takes you. So you got to be like water or a river. And Oxbow is another name for a kind of a river that comes through. So we take the path that is best suited without pushing too much. If you push too aggressively, you can break.
What's the typical mistake that a young brand makes when they go to a distributor?
I think firstly, when someone looks at the offline world, it's scary. Number one, it's too big. It's too wide. India's too large. Too many players. Who do we work with? I think it's trying to see biting what you can chew. So it's even starting that people want to go everywhere at the same time, but no one wants to pay anything to get there. Now there's a cost to doing business with distributors. There's a cost to doing business with retailers, but just getting on the shelf is not the end game. It's just
somebody should buy your product.
Exactly. Now brands sometimes don't realize that getting on the shelf is probably an easy. I will never say an easy, but an easier thing for a distribution company. But getting it off is what they got to focus on, and they've done this great online.
Absolutely, they may say that okay, hey, we're doing great online. But okay, based on our online advertising and marketing, somebody will pick it up as a retail. But it's two different animals, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not always the case. There may be brands who have some massive pull, and you just got to make yourself available offline. That's an easy option as such.
You said massively big. Then they're well-known brands, right? That have that.
Yeah. Correct. Yes.
Not the other ones.
Not the younger ones. Yeah, the younger ones. to face a struggle because they want to go to too many places. I think it's starting with one partner, try it yourself, make the mistakes yourself, understand the grunt work that you got to go through, then talk to a distribution partner. Because then you understand the pains they're going to go through and what it really is worth of your time. Then you justify the entire thing. It's do it yourself before you go out and give it to someone else, before you outsource it, if I may say.
In the distribution side.
In the distribution also, do it yourself, start it off, try it out, try one city, try one customer, try one chain, try 10 stores. As simple as that.
Understand that.
Understand the game. Because then you know what's going to happen when you get bigger. Because today you're starting with 10 stores, but you eventually want to get to the right 1,000 stores, the right 3,000 stores. But eventually, I've met brands who say, "Listen, I want to become a 50 crore brand in a year's time." Dude, you can't think always like that. Let's get realistic on the entire thing. Let's go step by step. Let's build it out. There are pieces that you cannot push. The offline world, you can't push it by just throwing money. It's a gradual process. You got to meet customers. Before meeting customers, partners is you got to work with the distributor, the retailer. The retailer can decide how good a brand is positioned on the shelf, how much weightage his team gives to your brand.
It's interesting.
It matters out there. So you got to build that trust, and trust takes time. You can't get trust with that.
So offline doesn't happen overnight.
It does not happen overnight. It does take time, and you have to have patience.
And a lot of brands believe that they have to burn a lot of money. Is that true?
I disagree.
What's your so give me your take.
So this goes back into my upbringing and how my dad has built businesses, and I get questioned quite often. You build businesses to last, for which you got to make money today. Now, if you're constantly going to burn, what the hell are you building for?
Yeah.
So thinking the old way is really crucial. Brands can't just go and say, "I'm going to pay whatever number and get customers."
And whatever number is the distributor says, I need a 40% discount on on the product, and then I'll stock it, and then I'll distribute to retailers. People do that, right? A lot of young brands have told me this, that look, they can't sell on their price, they got to discount it heavily.
Well,
the factory price.
No, so I think this is where the takeoff, go do it yourself first. It's hard, but you've gone online, done everything yourself. Why not offline, man?
Yeah.
It's a people meet people world. So you interact with people.
People.
Yeah, it's not digital footprints, not digital crates. I love technology. We use it. But offline is a passion. You're meeting people, you're discussing stuff, and you have to honor what you say. If you don't honor what you say, above it.
Okay, now people listening into this, they'll say tomorrow it's all going to be offline or online, right? Well, probably they'll say online. So I would say offline is still 90% of the country.
Currently, yes.
Isn't that true?
It is true. It's very true. So people have an opportunity today. It may start getting skewed, but do you think people are going to want to get away from experience? I've seen trends in fashion. A lot of stuff happens online, but I've seen folks go back and say, I want the experience of trying stuff on in the store, in an environment be taken care of.
Yeah.
The same thing in the offline world. Okay, you can order food home, but actually eating it there. If I may use a personal example,
Please.
We would order pizza home for the kids once a week. Now, one afternoon, my kid decided to take off. We want to go drop his granddad off to the airport. Did that. And then we went for a pizza. I said, Dad, this is amazing. Is this how pizza should be? I said, yeah, not, reheated in your oven. But the personalized experience of on-premise consumption, fresh.
I think that'll continue as long as human beings are social animals, and we are.
Yeah, it's an element of satisfaction for the future, I think.
So I think it's a strategy, right? That you sold off online, but now offline blends in because of the experience. So you offer better experience. People still go buy you online, right?
Yes. You got to see how you seamlessly integrate the online and offline kind of world.
It doesn't look like rocket science, but everybody seems to be struggling. And you were right when you told me earlier. Many reports claim many things.
Yes.
One report says we'll have 50K brands by 2025. One report says 100K. And you were bang on because of your experience. You said probably only 5% of them are really making money.
I think so.
And the only good thing I'm happy about those reports saying that there'll be 50K, 100K brands is the fact that there is Indian consumption.
Yes.
And that's here to stay.
Yes.
But you want that 5% to become 15 to 20%, right? What would be a global comparison? For example, would America have certain younger brands doing well at this point of time? Or is it good business to see X number of people come into starting a brand as a business and then falling off in the successful ones, get the offline, online, right?
So I think it's a combination of multitude of things. I think first and foremost, India's consumption story is just starting.
Yes.
Everyone says,
Just like we
"Ah,
had
we're great."
retail
Yeah.
10 years ago, 15 years
Yeah.
ago. Now it's brands.
Yeah. People said it started. I still feel it's starting.
Okay.
So on the
Okay.
shelf, online, you can see a lot of stuff. I'm offline guy. I'm a physical, in-person kind of a person. So on the shelf, there's so much gap on the shelf in terms of giving customer choice. You compare this to some of the Western countries and some of the Eastern countries, and the choice you have on the shelf is crazy.
You're right. I went to Giant Eagle in Cleveland or someplace like that. Okay. Not Cleveland, Austin.
Okay.
And guess what? They had 30 different flavors of chocolate milk, different brands.
There you go.
30 different flavors of chocolate. How can you think of 30 different flavors of chocolate, man?
I think it's personalization.
It's personalization.
It's getting to the element of saying, hey, how much can I personalize? Now, this is where digital is fabulous. You got to learn what works digitally, quickly, change things. Take the right product offline. Now, in the offline world, you got to prepare for not a week, but you got to prepare for at least 3 to 6 months in a small world. The bigger guys, they prepare for 12 months, stocking, inventory, all that kind of great stuff. But you got to plan all that stuff. Are people willing to sit down and actually plan for the offline world? Will a partner stock? Will a retailer stock? How much will they stock? Will they supply credits? All that. But it's about going slowly, which is why if you try to go everywhere today, get to 30,000 stores today, it's going to break your back. I think it's
so you're saying don't be so ambitious. Start small.
No, be ambitious, but start small. I think the baby steps is what gets you to start compounding your growth eventually.
Okay, let's take a run because you are a CPG guy. You love CPG. At what stage should they look at offline? Is it say 1 million? They've done 1 million digital sales, and then they do offline. Or what?
I'm a guy with gut.
Okay, go on.
I think it's got to go hand in hand.
Together?
I think it has to go
in India today. You have to do both.
Start hand in hand. What's the harm? It's about going to a couple of stores and talking to them. Get feedback from there too. The retailer knows more about your product, the category, than what you think you know about it.
It's interesting you say this because both the audio brands advertise so much on Instagram and they're all over the place. But when I walk into any retail store today, even the smallest, I don't want to call them kiranas, but they're smaller electronic stores, right? I mean, this 10 by 10 kind of place. They'll know the product better than anybody.
They know it because they've grown up doing it.
And they're selling 2, 3. They say, okay, here's a board, here's a noise.
Yeah.
The
benefits of two.
They talk about the benefits of the two. It's much more powerful than
they have strong influences. I think the offline world is also important simply because your influencers are not just a digital influencer. It's your offline influencers in your retail stores.
Yeah.
They have a catchment coming. They may not have 1 million footfalls a day like the digital world, but they're good enough. But you're also de-risking yourself. Now, online, you may have to work with 5 big mammoths, which can make or break your business 2 years later. But in an offline world, you're de-risking yourself amongst 30,000 people, multiple markets, and every market changes trends, fashion, likes, dislikes, feelings, or issues that a market could have. But if you're spread across geographies, you're de-risking yourself further. So distribution is usually about de-risking yourself substantially and not being too skewed to a select number of partners, if I may say. But again, things are going to go wrong. But if you have the right partners you built with trust and relationship, they know, if I may use it, should hit the roof. You're there to back them up. Now that takes time, and that takes trust that's built over time. A D2C brand in the CPG space or a packaged food space, if they try to go too fast in the store and throw money at it, they'll probably get a visibility and a display.
Yeah.
But what about continuity? You need not just a partner support, you need the distributor support. You can supply directly, but your logistic cost is going to kill you. So it's about managing the supply chain effectively and relationships.
Yes.
The more you push, which is why the Oxbow element. The fastest for me to get from here to there is straight. But sometimes to make the best of the future, you've got to wind out. So you find the way that you got to flow through to keep the relationship and build it eventually as you move along. I still believe relationships are going to play a massive part tomorrow. We are seeing digital disrupting a lot of stuff, and you can do a lot there. From what we've seen, the D2C, F&B, premium mass brands we talk to, you're going to bleed if you're online only. Because you can't afford the cost. The cost of logistics is going to...
Now, that brings back my other question, right? Again, the 5%, the success.
Yes.
And these guys are successful because they've got the supply chain right, or both offline and online? Or is it the quality? And you said it's high value premium mass, but it serves the purpose. People like it, like the brand offering.
So I think it's again a combination of a great product, great packaging, but also availability at the right price. If you're too expensive online, someone else, there's always going to be someone cheaper than you.
Oh.
That I think we all have to agree. It's not a cheap wins everything. Look at, if I may, from my little understanding, everyone said India is an extremely value conscious market and low cost wins. Look at what Q-commerce is doing. They're not the lowest cost.
Yes.
They actually are a little higher. But people want convenience. People are starting to value their time. People are starting to value their health. People are starting to value experiences. So those good feel factors are coming back. So you got to blend the past with the today, I think. And if you're doing
that's well said. Blend the past with the present. That's when you say blend the past with the present, is blend the best of the offline world with the present online presence, right?
And also, we've all grown up and kids are growing up. It's all memories that are created in their minds. So it's trying to see how you use those memories positively and create the environment of today, which is what one of our brands, Dobra, does. It's past experiences of simplicity. It was so simple in the past. He keeps saying that. We always hear people say, man, it's so simple in the past. Today's complicated. Now, how do you get the best of the past, simplicity, and today's tech and awareness and experience? That's what you got to package into a product.
Yeah. So you're saying it works when you do this pricing, packaging,
availability.
Availability is the experience. Would you say?
Is experience, yes. Experience. Well, availability is where I can buy it, but then, you think about a packet of crisps or chips. You open it. If you take that bite and it's crap, and like, damn, I'm never going to go back to that.
It's happened to me many times.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that's true. I mean, the Indian consumers evolved then.
Right? Yes, very much.
You want to divide them in categories. The biggest buying category today that you see.
I may say the biggest
influencers can be our kids.
Yes,
for the
very
category. But what about the shirts and the apparel, and where's that going today? What's the category that's really done well?
So I think I'm not an expert in the fashion side of it.
But the food side, you could talk food because you've done food in the past, right? So
yeah, I'll dabble a little bit in the fashion. So
please.
I think the new gen coming in do have more disposable income and they're willing to experiment. They don't probably want to go through the same journey their folks went through, but they want to create their own path. So they're going to disrupt and try new things, which is why the opportunity for Indian fashion, CPG, consumer goods brands is going to boom, has just started booming. You probably have 10, 15 brands that are really doing very well.
We talked about 5 different types of coffees.
Yes.
Room, right? Just 5. There are many more, I'm sure.
Hell yeah.
So it's happening. So people are experimenting.
Think about rice.
Yeah.
Rice, I knew what 5 different types of rice maybe. But I got to learn there are, 50, 60 different types of rice for different occasions, different types, different methods of cooking. It's an experiential world if you truly get into it. End of the day, I think people need to love what they're doing and enjoy that journey. It's not getting to the destination, but just go through the journey. You're going to have potholes. In India, man. You're going to have potholes. You're going to have speed bumps. Enjoy it. Go through that process.
So the brand that survives is, it's not just the mind share. It's the pricing, availability, and the experience.
Yes.
That's it.
Very much. Yes.
That's great. So that's the context. No wonder there's so much money coming in brands in India as well, right?
That's also just the start, I think.
It's just starting.
I think it's just the start. The number of international brands looking at India and talking to us, it's put us in the driver's seat. In the past, we would go to brands and say, man, India, you got to look at India. Today is like, you better be in India, else, you're going to have trouble.
I have a couple of things on the marketing bit, of D2C brands and going offline, right? I'm doing a lot of weightlifting these days. And so I saw something on Instagram where there's this Indian weightlifter who was associated with a particular type of shoes made in Punjab. He said, man, okay, Indian weightlifter, then I buy it, okay, and packaging is great, and the story was great on Instagram, so I bought it. Then I brought it, and I've not yet worn it. Okay, I'm waiting for an associate of mine who's a weightlifter. He comes home and says, hey man, look, I've got a surprise. The reason I've got the best weightlifting shoes, which is Indian. He opened it. Okay, he said, hey, great man, let's show it. He looked at it and said, man, there's no heel. The weightlifters need that heel support.
Yeah.
And he just complained to me saying, this is the reason I never go buy online. It's so interesting. So there's a lack of trust now.
There is.
And because he said that, I was about to wear it. It's sitting in my place. I look at it every day. What am I going to do with it?
But you can return it online, right?
I'm one of those guys who doesn't return stuff. That's another thing. Yes, young people do return it, right? I could have returned it. I did not. I just kept it there. I'm just watching it and saying, oh, what a misery. It is quite expensive.
Mm.
But so it's coming from there's influencer marketing.
Yes. Oh,
There's
yes.
so much stuff, and that's why I said to myself, next time I buy a weightlifting shoe, I am going to go take this guy with me and understand what works for my
So
feet.
you got to believe in yourself. I
Yeah.
think. I'll give you an example. My son, he plays football. He's a keeper. He's avid keeper training, all that kind of stuff. He wanted to buy goalkeeping gloves. Got on my Amazon account, picked up what he wanted, saw the sizes. It came to us too big. Then they asked for certain measurements of the index finger, the middle finger, the thumb.
He did all that. He's got the patience.
No, he's like, I do not know what really fits me. I said, can we go to a store and check out what you really need? I said, yeah, that's what we need to do, and that's what we've done before, and it worked. Whenever he's bought online, something's gone bad. It's not always wrong. I love shopping online, but also I'm an offline guy. I love the experience. When I get a chance to go and buy, I'll go buy. I love the experiences. The other day,
the brand should manage these too.
They need to manage it. I think brands need to manage it because at the end of the day, the guy who gives the consumer, the brand that gives consumers the true experience and makes them feel great about themselves. Wins.
Oh, so it should have made it easier for me to return the shoes then, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's another problem. If it's on Insta, I think it's harder to find out.
Yes.
Yeah. But what I read sometime back, Amazon was trying out these models of maybe in Europe and US that people who return stuff more frequently got bought from shopping.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah,
they do. That's the truth. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I've never returned stuff that I buy on Amazon. I just leave it. That's true. I'm sorry, Amazon, but that's how it is actually. I had a bad experience in your after sales. Right?
Yeah.
But brands have this problem. They have to focus on the experience.
I think experience matters a lot because else someone else is going to come and do something better. I would love to name brands that went through the cycle, but I'm just going to keep away from that.
The large brands have done well. The ones that we've known, the apparel brands have been around, right? And the food ones,
they are facing challenges, I feel. And
the pressure from consumers not going back to them. The younger one.
Yeah.
It's like Test cricket.
It is. It is.
But everybody watches it. Even the younger ones watch it, but at home, not at
summary.
the stadium. Yeah.
They watch the summary.
They watch the summary, highlights of the
That's
test.
it.
Yeah.
But I think even in
go on.
The bigger brands are present. They have the distribution muscle. They have the strength. Online is still 7%, 10% for them mainly. The real big ones, probably less than 7%. But the smaller guys are disrupting it because they're telling the bigger brands, I can customize for this group of customers. You cannot.
Absolutely.
Should you wish, you got to disrupt your entire business. And they're not willing to. But what they're trying to do, what I understand what's happening is the bigger brands need the disruption. They need to start seeing what the consumer wants to experience. And they're probably prepared to wait to let someone grow to a certain number and then probably acquire them and bring them on board to create innovation.
In India yet. Not much. Starting.
I think it's going to get only bigger. From what we've been hearing, there are brands of building for acquisition. It's an exit route. From discussion, we've seen people always want to have an exit route. And we've been asking this question. And
in your case, it's the experience, right? And you've built, it's like you're building institutions versus
trying to live up to the legacy my dad and my brother, my granddad, my dad, and my brother created. So
okay, Rahul, we've talked about India, market, consumers. We have a few things left, and it's Oxbow.
Yes,
right. We have to talk about the brands that you have at this point of time, and they're also D2C. They're also offline, right?
Yes.
So you're in the category of food, and why again food? And what are those? What are the names of the brands?
Sure, food. I love food. Who doesn't love food in India? So, but I think it's doing something about what you love. We love distribution. We love foods. So let's do something great about it. We did distribution a lot of other companies, learned a hell of a lot. That's when Oxbow was set up 2 years ago to do brands that we thought was great, the past simplicity and the present moment experiences that we had to bring together. So we created a brand called Dobra, which comes from the foundation of 2 words, Dobara, repeat, again from Hindi, and good or great from Polish. My wife is Polish, so the name came, Dobra, the name came out from there. It's all about color and liveliness and past and today and stuff like that.
Does it have a website?
It does, called dobraindia.com.
How do you spell it?
DOBRAINDIA.
Okay, very good. So it's a food thing.
Yeah.
It's CPG.
It's packaged. It's basically snacks, beverages, and confectionaries. And it's again taking back the simplicities of the past of the great flavors. Not worried only about health all the time. It's about indulgence. It's about playfulness. It's about experience. And put us a masti that we want to have, that we had growing up. It brings everything into a bottle, into a packet of crisps, into a tub of cotton candy. So it brings all the kind of cool stuff into this that you can experience, or it just helps you out from that perspective.
And name the other ones, other brands.
So the other brands is a brand called VDC, Vegan Drink Company.
That's for people like me.
Well, like
Right?
us,
Like
like
people
us.
like okay, yes, for the health drinks, right? It's healthy.
So it's
More
a
healthy.
dairy alternate.
Okay.
Given the fact that veganism is picking up, it's considered a lot more healthier. Everyone's different, but this is for people who want to move into veganism or want to move as an alternate dairy. And this portfolio to the company, great founder, great ideas, fabulous ingredient supplies to most of the non-dairy guys in the world, in the country actually. So he set up this idea of creating non-dairy beverages, the largest portfolio in the world actually. There's oats, almonds, coconut, millet, soya. He has an entire portfolio and can launch things really fast. So we partner with him where he takes care of the entire they take care of the entire manufacturing, we take care of the entire sales and distribution. But that partnership has helped get presence into a lot of prominent retail
And you
points.
take care of the branding as well.
Together, the company takes care of the branding together, but we advise based on experience on what can work. It all goes back to experience. So you want people to try it because we believe it's that good.
Okay, that's VDC, and after that,
Then we have a brand called Kibi Kibi.
it's what
yeah.
Korean kind of thing?
So it's a husband and wife that came up with this idea when they were traveling on their honeymoon in New Zealand, and they came up with the a category called bliss balls, which wasn't there in India. But in India we have laddus, but these are like laddus but healthy, and it's date mixed, date based with nuts and dry fruits, and they have protein balls, and they were in two markets, building sales, burning
in India.
In India, Indian company based out of Raipur. Great folks. Again, second gen.
And they had a manufacturing plant.
They have a manufacturing plant. And they took the risk of doing all this. And the wife, she moved back from, I think, Kuwait or Qatar. And she loves health. And she said, I got to give this. She was giving it to her kid. She said, I got to give this to other people. And that's how the brand was formed. And they were selling in certain offline stores and online. But when we partner with them, we said, let's go to the biggest online stores to get more footfall, more eyeballs, and check it out.
You're doing offline also?
Offline also now. We've just partnered recently. I started getting into offline stores too. Because I still believe offline, online, the combination is a must-have. You don't have to go everywhere. Go to the right partners.
So you have indulgence, you have health. Yes. Then what is the last one?
So it's again good for you. So we have a brand called Wi-Fry. It's a pop chips. You want to have a snack, but you don't want it to be fried.
It's baked.
It's actually pop. It's a popcorn. It's a pop. Yeah. It's like a small piece of potato that's pellet. It's popped like a popcorn, and it has great flavors. But it's healthier when you bite into it. So folks who want to have only a healthy snack, they can have that. If you want to have an indulgent, playful, musty snack, we have Dobra. So you have a portfolio of companies of indulgence, but also good for you.
It's interesting. You have your own brand, but you're also playing the role of accelerator to others. Would you like more brands to come on the platform? Because your expertise is clearly 70 years of offline, right? So do you want people to come on board? How do they apply to Oxbow kind of platform?
It's interesting. We're not positioned as an accelerator, but we have this platform.
I see it as a progression.
I agreed. It's interesting you say that. It's something for us to think about and see how we model. But I think that takes time to structurally form that. And I think we could partner with people who do it really well. We're just damn good at distribution. We love our partners. We love our retailers. We love our distributors. And they work with us. There are bad days, but we go through that process. And that's what we have. It's a platform. And we work with the right stores who have the right customers coming in, who want the right experience and willing to pay a slight premium. Our products are not the cheapest, but it's for the customer who wants a slight experience and assurance that it's going to be a damn good product. And that's what we have a platform for. And there are retailers who, offline retailers are growing. Yeah. People say that is degrowing. No, online guys are growing. Yes, the offline world is also growing at the same time. It's just that the percentage is smaller because they are giants. The Q-commerce guys are much smaller and they're growing at a much faster pace because the base is small. So percentage can be deceptive.
And you're right. And the Q-commerce guys are growing in only certain areas of the city. Say wherever the IT crowd is, or maybe an atomized family.
I agree. I don't know too much about where they're growing, but I think most likely, because from what I read, they have to have a certain catchment to be profitable.
Because where we are at JP Nagar in Bangalore, it's still traditional. Just go down the road, there's market and big kiranas here, right? There's still these departmental stores where you can touch and feel things.
Yes.
Right? And they're growing.
They are growing.
The only problem is the second generation entrepreneurs feel the third generation won't come and do this. I mean, that's the only thing. I'm sorry I interjected.
No. I think it's just sometimes we all worry too much about too much into the future. Handle today. Do well today. And give the customer the experience today. They'll come back tomorrow. They may not come back every week. They may come back twice a week. They may not come back every day for something like they did before, the fresh meats and dairy and stuff. They probably have subscription-based stuff or something delivered home. But they'll come back. They want that experience. They want the feel-good factor. Everybody loves to be feeling great about themselves, and people make people feel great. Online only makes you feel bad sometimes because you're constantly scrolling and say, "Hey, this person is doing that. This person has that." It's a different world out there. I think it's nice to see how you just
It's
feel
psychology also, right?
comfortable in your own skin.
That's interesting, man. I really wish to understand how India is. It's so complex. It's not like a unit market like the US, right? Where the giant stores, there's online. Here is so complex.
That's the fun part, right?
So in South Bangalore, will be totally different from the north side or the east side of Bangalore, right?
Every part is different, and that's the exciting part of India. I think it's at that cusp of, I keep saying, still starting to grow, because our story is yet to come. It's really yet to come, because the consumers who are truly spending is probably still 20%, 30%, not more than that. Not even more than that.
Okay, say if I'm 100 rupees, they're only experimenting with 20 today on the shopping list.
Depends on who you are.
Let's say the premium, mass premium category. Let's say the food, like
age group.
Let's say Dobra.
Right.
It'll be young. Well,
we go across spectrum because we play on experience. This is again.
So because you have Goli soda there also, right? And I don't know what you call it. What's that?
It's called Pop Goli.
Pop Goli, right? So what would be the category that I'd certainly have one, probably because of the
nostalgia,
memories,
yes,
right? And I remember the kids.
So put it this way:
what's the spread like of the customer portfolio?
So we have something that goes to an older person. I wouldn't say we are an older person, but even older than us and our age groups, but also the youngsters, and it tickles the fancy of some part of their mind at every age group. For a kid, it's like they're gonna open it up, pop. Use our open, pop it open. The excitement of opening a champagne bottle that we have, they have that opening that. The fizz.
So we worked on it, design.
We worked on it. We work on the experience. We try talking about it. Now, this is where I think a lot of Indian brands need to learn from international brands and bring the story and make it India. The Japanese, they have something called Ramune.
Yeah.
Now that's a global phenomenon. Any Japanese restaurant you go to, they'll know Ramune. Most of them will have it. Some may not. But across the world, outside India, Japanese restaurants will have Ramune. Now, we've done exactly the same thing. Funny enough, that we have a couple of international markets reaching out to us saying, "Hey, we have Ramune. Yours is exactly the same and more packed with flavors, and the options are greater. Can we do something?" And man, you guys have created the category, coming back to us. So, yeah, but you're branding it well. You're positioning it well. You can get a Goli soda, Pop Goli, a Banta soda, depending on where you're coming from, a Goti soda on the streets. But is it hygienic for you and your kids?
Yeah. The water especially.
Yeah. So we've taken all those things into account. Not me, my wife. She's a brain behind all this kind of stuff that we've done. So she's come up with the idea of seeing how you correct a position well, you brand it correct, you get the right ingredients in there. Of course, that's the mind. But someone has to do the great work, which is, again, my brother's fabulous in making things happen. He does all that kind of stuff. So it's about finding the right people in our team or the family that you can trust, rely on to create stuff, and enabling them.
Got it. Nice.
So,
so the strategy for Dobra is to again go offline, and you're doing again, guys. You have to go online and check them out, but offline. How do the distributors work in this case? If you take Dobra to say a large distributor in Bangalore, how would they react to the brand? And they know our customers. Some departmental stores may keep it. This single store organized retail. There are many of them now. Branded retail, but single store. Or 2-3 store chains. So organized retail also has evolved a little, right?
Very much.
So how does the positioning go with the distributors, and then they go and convince the retailers to stock product, or do you do it directly also?
So for us, the advantage that we come from is we've done this for 50 years on a state level for the big Indian MNCs.
Yes.
15 years on a national level. So we've gone to the grunt of convincing partners, and partners trust us today. The biggest issue a distributor is going to have is, if it doesn't sell, what's going to happen?
Because it's a consignment then, right? That you have to work on as a young brand.
People would normally have to go through that process, but for us, because of our
trust
methods of working, they know we'll get it on the shelf. We'll help them. Some distributors may go and get it on the shelf. For us, we like to control that part of it. So we have our teams convincing retailers
to stock
it. And get a distributors.
Usually distributors have to go convince.
It's the easier route.
It's easier.
You give it to someone else and outsource it. That's their headache. No, I think it's a relationship, it's an ecosystem that you work with.
They'd feel happier if you could tell them, yeah, correct.
So you generate. That's how we build our business. We have our guys who create the demand. We have our partners who stock and supply it, but also effective stocking takes time. You can't invest a heavy amount in a retail store or retail stores in a region and tell the distributor just to stock. You got to go gradually because they got to stock and they got to rotate the money. My job is to make sure my partner makes money off correctly. If I do that well, he's happy. The customer is happy. If they are happy, I'll succeed. So my success is entrenched into my distribution partner success.
Okay, distribution has been the same for so many generations. Has it changed technology-wise? Some kind of efficiency? There's a lot of wastage, of course.
So
what is it? It's always built by humans, right? I always seen people go. I mean, the only evolution that I saw in distribution is a guy going to a kirana store and saying, "Okay, instead of using paper, they're using an app now."
Yep.
We haven't, but in the US, it's all automated, man.
So
Even
those are
the
bigger
small
stores there.
Yes, bigger stores.
Yeah.
It's all automated.
Those are they call them ARS, automatic replenishment system that they have. The smaller stores in India are getting there, but distribution fundamentally remains the same. It's still a people business. It's a relationship business.
And it's not going to change in India. It's going to be the same, but it's just going to be a little evolution, like how we have UPI payments, which is great. So the kirana guy is just going to use his smartphone to do everything.
So lots of different technologies coming at the retail point, and there are loads of guys.
Many startups come and gone also.
That's the sad part. It's just I think you come and try to grow too fast and burn too fast.
Yes,
you had to go.
Yes,
but if it builds sustain, and there's some good guys doing some good work at retail to change the experience of customers and the shopkeeper too. Now, for us, distribution has been fundamentally the same. It's our partners, it's our movement of products. But yes, we've got technology coming in. Why? Because we had large number of brands. We scaled that from distribution into ownership and through partnership with brands as such. We're preparing for growth. For that, we have to have data. In the past years, we did pen and paper stuff. We recently transitioned into systems of taking orders on the app. Interesting you say that. It's trying to see how we bring AI into understanding what's the best quantum of stocks to be kept for which store, which area, how do you suggest what stocks to be built in. Today, we're still saying, hey, keep a 21-day stock level or 30-day stock level. But we're trying to get smarter using things to our disposal. The difference that we feel that we bring, there are loads of tech companies who are trying to do distribution. We're a distribution company trying to engage with tech. Yeah, and use it to our benefit.
It's a great way. I mean, just for the audience, I don't know if you can appreciate this line of questioning from me.
Sure.
Again, I bring back US because it's so advanced. They've gone to a level where, as a manager, I have the ability to order. I don't have to depend on the area manager. So as a store manager, I could just go on the phone and voice based. I could just say that what are the sales made on this aisle, and what should I replenish, and what has brought me more margins.
Yes,
the system can tell you that every day.
Yeah,
isn't that empowering?
It is massively empowering, and India will get there in the bigger format stores. It's a while away.
But can the small guys benefit from it? But will they all pay for the tech? Yeah,
tech is going to get democratized, I think. The
so
cost of engaging or involved or implementing tech. Look at the fabulous companies like Soho.
Yeah.
They are really bringing tech to our doorstep at the cost that we can afford in India.
Absolutely.
Any tech company internationally, the charges that they have internationally are crazy. But when they come to India, you've got to function with the game rules of India. Yeah. It is a massive opportunity. Price it right, curtail your margins, but price it right, build the momentum, give the service, and stay for the long run. There are some great tech companies who came and did some great stuff, but had to move out.
It's interesting you say this. So yeah, as a young brand coming in, I mean, you have to do the costing and everything yourself. The factory pricing, how much you're going to pay your vendor partner, and then, and your margins, including branding and marketing costs. You got to do it yourself.
Most brands need to. The partner brands that we work with, we get our fingers into the pie.
Okay.
And we roll our sleeves up, and it's ours. We are building it together. This is how we build. This is what you got to keep.
So the pricing. That's your experience, right? This is what the distribution will buy it at.
Yes.
Right.
This is what retailers will need. And retailers are just asking for what they ask. Their cost of rental is crazy. Yeah. So they've got to sustain, and there are very few national guys who are profitable today.
Do people still pay for the eye gaze or the planogramming of the eye line? They do.
You can still, or you can influence it. But
I mean, you're so right, man. In all my 44 years, I mean, at least been shopping, 39 years. I've just looked at one side like this. You go to a store today, I'll tell you, I discover. I mean, if you go to a large department store, right, the big brands have bought out all the eye lines. right?
Mm.
And
Most of the time, it's a sad
most of the
thing.
time, right? It's the same ones. It's unless at the counter some guy says, "Hey, there is this new cheese that you want to try."
Mm.
I thought Brick Oven's done a good job of late. You go, you find them in Nandaris and all
Yeah.
of that. That's a good move, but I still find at the bottom.
See, I think also then retailers are starting to try supporting smaller brands because
They
they
should,
know.
right?
Now the reason also your margins are slightly higher on smaller brands versus the bigger
Absolutely,
brands.
they should.
And, yeah, I've been in situations where we used to have really premium products, and I was told to knock our. We had a chips called Turtles.
Mhm.
So you can't do this because you're selling only 100 packets.
Yeah, they're luxury chips, right?
Yeah. And they were priced high and the margin was much higher. Lay's was there, Bingo was there, and they were selling 100 times more. But I did the math, the space I occupied versus the
Made
revenue
more
I got.
money.
Yeah, I said, you actually make more money from me for the space I take.
But would they understand it?
Shit. Man, retailers know things backside front.
So that's an amazing point. So you're saying that Kirana store may not need the technology. You may just need a smartphone app that
I know.
captures numbers. He knows what he's
They
doing.
have the gut feel, they have the pulse, but now they're starting to use tech because they can capitalize on that. A lot of tech guys have display screens and stuff where you throw up adverts and you pay for it. It's an income source for them. So we are looking at models whereby we take dedicated space in retail stores, select retail stores over a period of time, and then launch our brands and our brand partners on them at a much lower fee.
I think kids watching this should understand so much happening offline, man.
Yes.
Just go out and just every category there's competition. Huh?
Yes. And every city is different. Every part of a city is different.
Yeah. And small towns. We haven't covered small towns. Do you have a small town strategy? Oxbow?
She's got to be there. I think the smaller towns, when we speak to retail partners, this is again insights that we get from our discussion of retail partners. Everyone says everyone wants to work in the top 10 cities. What about the others? You get there, you will be given royal treatment because no one wants to service the smaller stores or the big stores in the small towns. And the money power that consumers there have is phenomenal because they don't have other avenues to spend. Restaurants, QSRs, in on-premise dining, experiential dining, or eating is only getting there right now. That's also booming. So they have money in their pocket to spend, and the kids are today moving around. And when they're moving around, they're going to start. I want them to go to stores because you can really see stuff there. People are willing to spend there. I was in some part of East India. I think it was either Guwahati, probably Guwahati, and the stores out there. We were on the shelf. There were not many brands. There were half the number of brands, 1/4 the number of brands there that there were in the metro cities of India. And the metro cities of India stores have probably 1/10 of what they should really have, that they're going to have next 3 years' time.
There's more experimentation that time.
You can have experimentation, but touch, feel, try. And in these stores, what we love doing is if you believe in our product and we partner with brands we truly believe in, we have our internal panel, our family, our customers and our team, who tell us if a product is good or not. If we believe in it, get a customer to try it. Don't give a customer what I wouldn't consume or my family wouldn't consume themselves. As simple as that. Get a customer to try it, get them to experience it, and the opportunities are phenomenal. But go a step at a time.
What next for Oxbow? 18 months. At least give me a year ahead. Raise money or bootstrap?
So, my dad is going to kick me on this one. But he's always taught us you got to build business for the future to last, and it's got to be done correctly.
And you got to return the money you borrow.
Yes, from the family. And it's always the case because we all are accountable to each other. And everyone gives time, effort, and money. And as family members, you don't normally take a salary of an employee. But you got to build for yourself. Everything goes in there. So we are doing all that right now. We believe this platform is just, I love this word, just starting. Because we just got the model right. It took us 2 years to understand what we should, actually took us 17 years to understand what we should be doing. 2 years ago, we set it up. And we're seeing a lot of discussions happening with external to our family. People who are excited about what we are building and saying, damn, that's a massive platform you have going. How can we support? And now that's amazing coming and saying, let's support, let's build. We're open to see with the right partner who we can really scale with. But we are seeing that offline access that we create, or the market access that we create in the offline. I keep saying offline. We're also omnichannel. We also work with Q-commerce. We also work with e-grocer. We work with corporates, airlines, airports, cafes, hotels.
It's a B2B, B2C mix.
It's, I think the newer people in B2B2C. But it's, for us, relationships. A great product, great relationship, honor what you say, the time-old method of stick to your commitment. Don't back off, whatever that means.
So you're going to be launching more brands also.
Yes. We're looking at the option of launching more brands, in-house, partner brands, and there are a number of
What if
partners.
somebody tomorrow, VC firm says, I want to partner with you, man? Would you be okay?
Very much. There are multiple models there. A VC
Sure.
firm partnering with us because of what we're creating. So from what I understand, number of VCs, and I'm talking F&B again, the food and beverage space, there are brands which are digital first, and they need to go offline. Now, there are loads of VCs in India who have portfolio brands that are not offline.
And you can help them. That's it. And I know so many of them. We're going to discuss after.
I would love to.
Right? Okay.
I would love to.
My last question: India's growth story is here to stay from the consumer standpoint of view. So more brands,
Yes.
but please offer great value. Understand profitability.
Profitability is crucial. You got to work towards profitability. May not be today, but you got to get there soon. If you have your eyes on profitability, focus. Attention will go where what you focus on. Focus on the profitability in the correct way. You will get there.
So you think even do one city, one area, it's fine.
Start. Focus on today. Be happy today. Tomorrow will come. Let tomorrow be tomorrow.
So don't overexpand.
Don't overexpand.
That's a great point, man. And last question: inspirations. Who are you inspired by?
Oh,
It could be books, it could be family also.
so I've seen the way my dad has built businesses. It's immense. I've seen the way my brother has come and joined a traditional business and modernized it. He was a private equity guy in the US. He came back, did all this stuff. Truly inspirational. My wife, strategy consultant, done great stuff.
Your sister's a supply chain expert.
Oh, she's the smartest. So she's stayed away. She's done all that, and she's doing some great work for folks in the UK. But I also love Tony Robbins. I've read a lot of his stuff. Believe in what he says. Trey Dalio principles. I love principles. It's helped put in place what my dad has told me all the time about business, about life, about people, about commitments. Never back away. Even if the next deal is better, don't back away. Stick your guns there. And he's done that. When he had to sell one of his hotels, he got a better deal with someone else, but he stuck to the Taj and he worked with them. And as simple as that. Alchemist, another really nice book that initiated a lot of thought process for me. And another book by a person called Shiv Khera. The first book my dad gave me is You Can Win. Is you gotta just believe in yourself and let things just happen. Go with the flow. Don't rush things. You gotta be there for the long term.
Yeah.
You gotta live.
So shed the ego. Go the business.
Oh yes. Get on there, roll up your sleeves, get the work done, do whatever it takes, make it successful.
No, and all the best to Oxbow, man.
Thank you so much. You've been really kind. Thank you so much.
Rahul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.